Today I've got for you a compilation of 10 best tips and tricks for Last Epoch that will make your experience much better. Even seasoned players might have missed some of these gems. I know I did, despite my countless hours in the game. But fear not, we are here to fill you in on all the secrets. And hey, if you've got some tips of your own, drop them in the comments below. Let's help each other and make the journey through Last Epoch smoother for everyone. Alright, no more delays, let's dive straight into the action. Tip number 1. You can autocast abilities. Autocast is especially useful for builds with abilities on cooldown that you want to recast as soon as they are available. An example here is Devouring Orb ability for Void Knight. You can also use this feature to semi-AFK farm in Arena if your character is powerful enough. To activate autocast, you have to assign ability button which you want to autocast to one of the numpad keys on your keyboard. Here, for instance, I assign a secondary button to keep my usual button mapping intact to numpad 3. Next, you press and hold the ability button on your numpad, then click numlock to disable it, and voila, you got an autocast set on that will keep on going. To disable the autocast, you just have to turn the numlock on and press the ability button again. In my case, it's numpad 3. Tip number 2. You can put points into multiple mastery passive skill trees. Yep, you heard me right. You are not forced into passive skill trees of your own mastery only in Last Epoch. And so you can actually unlock and use almost all active skills from other masteries as well. The exception here are the unique mastery abilities like the Storm Totem for Shaman or Werber Form for Druid. These unique skills are locked to specific masteries, but anything else is a fair play. Tip number 3. Right-click nodes and waypoints on the map to teleport to them immediately. Normally you press left mouse button and then click the travel icon at the bottom of the screen, which is pain in the ass and takes a bit. Instead, you can just press the right mouse button on the node and your character will teleport immediately to selected location. This works both in the world map and monoliths. Tip number 4. Rune of Removal guarantees shards, Rune of Shattering does not. This tip relates to crafting system in Last Epoch. You will sometimes drop items that are not useful to you in the existing configuration, right? The item will have some undesired stats or is not the item type that you are looking for, but you might need the affixes in the future. And that's where those two runes come in. Affixes are, by the way, the stats in the lower part of your item. For instance, plus level skill affixes are not so common drops and are highly desirable for endgame builds, so you might want to extract them from the items. Most players would use Rune of Shattering to destroy the item and get the shards. It's the simplest method, right? But the problem with Shattering is that the process does not guarantee you will get all the shards. As the description of the rune says, Shattering creates random number of shards, which means you might not get the shards for affix you actually want. To avoid losing the potential shards, you can use Rune of Removal on the item. Rune of Removal removes one random affix at a time, so it might actually take you up to 4 attempts to get your shard for the affix you want. Therefore, it is the best to use Rune of Removal when you really want that particular affix or if the item has less than 4 affixes on it. The best, of course, for this process are 2 affixes items, which give you 50% chance for desired shard. Tip number 5. Don't skip monolith nodes with experience rewards. If you are like me, then you probably avoid experience nodes in monoliths for the most part. At early endgame you tried them out and they gave you insignificant amount of XP, right? Well, friend, the higher you level up, the bigger the impact of experience tomes is. At around level 75, my character gets approximately 1% of level per tome. And so it is giving me 3% from all 3 tomes. That's okish, nothing too crazy. But when I run nodes with my Warlock on level 94 on Empowered Monolith with 140 corruption, I get approximately 7% from all 3 tomes, and that's huge amount of XP for that level. Also, have you ever actually looked at your gains to favor with faction with such experience rewards? Each tome gives you approximately 500 favor, which means 1500 favor per 1 echo, plus whatever you get from running the map anyway. This may seem like not so much, but it adds up real quick to a substantial amount of favor you farm. Plus, you can use experience rewards tomes for quickly leveling up your skills after a respec. Tip number 6. Arena nodes are a good source of experience for endgame leveling. I've run some tests and arenas give on average a better experience percentage than the usual monolith echoes do. You don't have to run around to look for mobs, nor is RNG of mobs density a big factor here. Some arena maps are better than others, sure, but on average, all are quite good for your experience gains. So if you need to level up quickly to meet requirements of some items, make sure to clear arenas to get there faster. Tip number 7. Champions Gate has training dummies. During early access, you could test your damage on a dummy in the end of time zone, right? With 1.0 release, the dummy is just not there. So if you are like me, you might have been confused as where the hell did the dummy go? See, dummies can be found in the Champions Gate settlement. This gate is in the exact same location as the entrance to the arena. Speaking about arena entrance, tip number 8. You don't need to search manually for dungeon's entrance. I used to look manually for an entrance to each dungeon all the damn time. It's confusing. There are so many eras and locations to look through, and so it can take some time and effort to locate the dungeon you are looking for. But there is an easier way. You can right-click dungeon or arena key to open the map with the focus on the entrance to that particular area. It makes your life so much easier. Tip number 9. You can avoid arena nodes in monoliths. You have actually two ways of checking if a node is an arena. First, you can left click on the node to check the name of the map. It will say arena if it's one. Or alternatively, you can hover over a node and see if it gives the usual amount of stability or less. And last, tip number 10. Press T key to resummon portal in monolith. So, let's say you've cleared the echo objective and you summoned the portal, but maybe you see a chest or a shrine and want to continue exploring the map. But you are worried, right, that you get lost and then you have to backtrack to that damn portal, wasting a lot of time. That's where T button comes to the rescue. Once portal was opened, you can just resummon it at your location at any time by pressing T key, saving yourself a lot of hassle. These are my top 10 tips to make your life easier in Last Epoch. Were these tips new to you or surprising in some way? Or perhaps you have figured them out on your own? Which important tricks have I missed? Let me know in the comments section below. Also, I have just released an in-depth video on my channel for Last Epoch, where we discuss systems and mechanics that make this game my favorite ARPG right now. So, if you enjoyed this video, then make sure to check it out as well. Thank you for your time, and I'll see you in the next one.